Welcome to Crystal Clear Chemistry channel. In order to crack either JEE mains or NEET exam, competitive exam, let's strengthen our basics through this video, through this channel. And in this video, I am going to discuss the nomenclature classification part 3. You can also check the playlist for different chapters or for different grant test and all. Okay, definitely this particular channel of chemistry will be helpful for you. Please subscribe, and if you like the video, please share to your friends too. Now, IUPAC nomenclature, as the trillions of compounds are present in the nature, especially the organic compounds, it's very important to know the rules how to name a compound. The rules were set by the organization, worldwide organization, that is nothing but International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. According to the IUPAC rules, we are going to check how to name a compound. The name of the organic compounds mainly contains three parts: root word, prefix and suffix. If we consider the root word, depending upon the number of carbon atoms, we need to write the root word of that particular compound. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is meth, eth, prop, but and pent. From 6 to 10, it is hex, hept, oct, non and dec. Now, what is a prefix? We write the prefix before the root word. It indicates the nature of the substituent group. Prefixes are of two types: primary prefix and secondary prefix. Primary prefix tells us whether the parent carbon chain is cyclic or not. And secondary prefix, it indicates the substituent group present in the molecule. Okay. Now, suppose if we consider the suffix, it is the word that is added after the root word, which indicates the nature of the functional group. So nature of the substituent group is of prefix, nature of the functional group is of suffix. As prefix, suffixes also two types: primary suffix and secondary suffix. Primary suffix indicates whether the carbon chain is saturated or unsaturated. Saturated in the sense the compound with all single bonds between the carbon atoms, which is represented by the suffix "an", whereas unsaturated means double bond or triple bond compounds, which are the suffixes are represented by the "-ine" and "-ine" respectively for double bond and triple bond. And if we consider the secondary suffix, it indicates the functional group. What is a functional group? It is a group of atoms, for example OH, CHO, group of atoms which decides the nature of the compound, or uh, because of which the particular compound gets the specific characteristic properties. Okay, now listen here. Let us see how to write the IUPAC nomenclature of saturated hydrocarbons. First rule is we need to select the longest possible chain of the carbon atoms, and that particular long chain is also called parent chain. The second rule is if we consider if we consider uh, the carbon chain, we must number it either from left to right or from right to left based on the position of the substituents. If the molecule contains one and only one substituent, then the carbon having the group should get the least number. So numbering we can give from left to right like this and from right to left like this, but among these two ways, among these two options, this is the correct option because the substituent is near from right side, from right end. So numbering from right is correct. Rule 3. If the molecule has more than one substituent group, then the sum of the locant of carbon atoms having these groups should be minimum. That is what the lowest sum rule. Let me explain clearly here. Suppose this is the chain. After selecting the long chain of this particular compound, in order to give two numbering, we have two options, from left to right or from right to left. In this particular compound, if we check from right end to left end, the substituents are present on the third one, fourth one and sixth carbon, you can see here, and the sum is 13, whereas from left to right the positions of the substituents is of uh, see here 2, 4, this is 2, 4 and then 5 according to the left to right numbering. Here the sum is lowest in the first case and hence the numbering from the left is the correct one. Now suppose if we consider rules of the IUPAC nomenclature here, the fourth rule, if the compound contains a substituent groups of the same type, CH3, CH3, both are the substituents, both are the methyl groups, and here also there is a methyl group. So three substituents are there and all the three are same. In that case, we have to add a prefix, additional prefix like di, tri, tetra for 2, 3, 4 substituents respectively. So here as there are three CH3 groups on second and fourth and fifth carbon atoms, after selecting the long chain, after checking the lowest sum rule, then the compound of this particular then the name of this particular compound is nothing but 2 comma 4 comma 5 trimethyl, and as there are 7 carbon atoms we write hept, as there are single bonds we write an. So this is how to name the compound. Hept is the root word, an is the primary suffix, and 2,4,5 trimethyl is the secondary suffix where the substituent present on the 2,4,5 positions respectively. Right, as there is no functional group we did not mention secondary suffix, as as it is not a cyclic compound we did not mention the primary prefix. Right, now let's continue. Suppose if we consider the fifth rule, if the substituents are found in equivalent positions, the lower number is given to the one coming first in the alphabetical order. So the fifth rule is among, suppose if we consider this particular thing, where the long chain contains 8 carbon atoms and hence oct will be the root word, as there are single bonds, we an is the primary suffix. But if we consider the substituents here, it is ethyl group and this is the methyl group which is present on the third and sixth respectively. When the methyl group and ethyl group are at similar positions from either the ends, the one which comes first in the alphabetical order should get the lowest number. That is what the ethyl get is. That's the reason why ethyl getting the 3 here in the long chain. Okay, so then what will be the name of this compound? 3-ethyl 6-methyl octane. But it is not 6-ethyl 3-methyl octane. Right? Now, rule 6. The branched alkyl group can be named by following the above mentioned procedure. However, carbon atom of the branch that attaches to the root word alkane is numbered as 1. Let me explain in a simple way. This is the long chain. This is the long chain. But if we consider the substituent group, it is again branched. It is again substituted. Or you can say that this is the substituted substituent we can say. In the case of substituted substituent, again we need to give the number, and this time the carbon which is attached to the parent chain should be given as 1. That's what they are saying here. Okay, anyhow, let us say it is 1 dash, 2 dash and 3 dash. There are 3 carbon atoms and hence propyl will come. On the second carbon atom methyl is there, hence 2 dash methyl, and this whole substituent is on the fifth carbon and hence 5 2 dash methyl propyl nonane. Okay, this is how to name the branched alkyl group if it is attached to the parent chain. Now let us see the rule 7. If two or more carbon chains have the same length, then the chain with more number of branches will be chosen as the root word. Let me clearly explain. Suppose if we consider this particular compound, this is the first option that we have to choose the long chain, right? There is another option in which there are 6 carbon atoms, this one. But among the straight chain 6 carbon atoms and this particular 6 carbon atoms, the straight chain one is substituted more. It is substituted at second position, third position and fourth position. But if we consider this L shape as the parent chain, in that case we have only two substituents. So the one with more substituents, straight chain parent chain only must be considered. That is what they are saying, because the straight chain parent chain is substituted by the three groups. Understand? And there are 6 carbon atoms, hence hex is the root word, N is the single bond, dimethyl is nothing but the prefixes. That to which prefixes? The secondary prefixes. And don't forget to write in the alphabetical order, as methyl group is after the ethyl group. They we have to write 3 ethyl, 2 comma 4 dimethyl. Whenever we write a di tri tetra and all, these are not considered in deciding the alphabetical order. Okay. Now suppose if we consider the longest chain of carbon atoms, which is so selected as to include the double bond or triple bond, even if it is not actually longest chain of carbon atoms. So after those 7 rules for the saturated compounds, now we are going to check the rules of naming the unsaturated hydrocarbons. Whenever there is an unsaturation present in the compound, that is double bond or triple bond, that must be included in the parent chain, even if it is not long. That's what they are saying. Okay, so here if we consider this particular compound, definitely the carbon with the double bond must get the priority, and hence we start from the double bond end, and there are 7 carbon atoms. There are 7 carbon atoms, and on the third group there is a propyl group here. There is a propyl group here. But in fact, if we consider this particular Z shape parent chain, it contains 8 carbon atoms. But this is not the long chain, because we have to add or include the double bonded carbon atoms in the parent chain, and hence they, from 1 to 7 is the correct parent chain of this particular compound, though the longest chain rule is violated, because the preference is for double bond. And after confirming the longest chain, we have to check where the substituent is present. It is on the third position, and where the double bond is present, it is on the first carbon. And hence 3 propyl hept 1 ene is the name of this compound. Now let us see the next rule here. Parent chain include both the double bonds. See, suppose if there are 2 double bonds, definitely the double bonds must be included in the parent chain. This is the parent chain. And on the third, again propyl is there, but this time there are 2 double bonds, and hence again the prefixes like di, tri, tetra must be added. And it is on which carbon atom? 1 and 4. So 1 and 4. So suppose if we consider the name of this compound, It must be 3 propyl hexa 1 comma 4 diene. Okay, so as we are mentioning di, tri, tetra, we need to write that A also. Okay, so this is the name of this compound. Once again, it is nothing but 3 propyl hexa 1 comma 4 diene. Okay, now listen carefully. The parent carbon chain is numbered in a manner so as to give the lowest number to the carbon atom linked by the double bond or triple bond. As we discussed already, the double bond and or the triple bond is the first priority when compared with the saturated hydrocarbons, and the double bonded or triple bonded carbon atoms must get the lowest number. That is the reason why left to right numbering is correct, but not right to left. But not right to left. Here, why they are giving this extra point means, in this case, if we consider the numbering from right to left, the lowest sum rule we would have followed. But though we are violating the lowest sum rule, as the priority is for double bond, here we are violating the lowest sum rule and we are giving the number from left to right. And as there are 7 carbon atoms, we can see the root word hept, as there is a double bond at second position 2 as there are 2 methyl groups on fourth and sixth carbon atoms 4 comma 6 dimethyl. Make sure we don't take here the D for the alphabetical order. Of course, there is only one type of substituent here, so no need to check the alphabetical order also. Let us see the another compound. Suppose if we consider this particular compound, there is a triple bond. So ine is the suffix for the triple bond. As there are 6 carbon atoms, hex is the root word, and we need to mention the position of the triple bond here. That is nothing but ine. Okay, now let us see some more examples here. Position of the multiple bond is placed immediately before the suffix "-in" or "-ein" and not before the root word. So that's what, not before the root word. Immediately after the root word itself, we have to write 1 comma 3 here. Suppose if we consider this one, and here if we consider these 3, there are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 comma 4 di-ein. Okay, now listen carefully. So far we discussed for two types of compounds, the IUPAC nomenclature. First one is saturated, the second one is unsaturated compounds. Now we are going to check, and I am going to check the or discuss the rules for the compounds with the functional groups in the next video. But for the next video, let's have basics again here. Let's discuss what are the functional groups and what are the names of those functional groups, what are the suffixes for we have to add for the particular functional groups here. Okay, now this is the seniority table for the principal groups, we can say functional groups. Definitely one must learn on their their own. See, this is all self learning groups. If we consider COOH prefix name oic acid, it is carboxy. For SO3H, it is sulfonic acid. For COR, it is alkoxy carbonyl or alkyl OH. And for COX, it is haloformyl OL halide. CONH2, carbamoyl, it is nothing but a amide. Okay, now listen here. Suppose if we consider the group CN, it is cyano, or you can say nitrile isocyano carbylamide for NC. For CHO, it is a formyl or all. For CO, it is keto and the suffix is on. For OH, it is hydroxy and the suffix is OL. For SH, it is mercapto and the suffix is thiol. For NH2 it is amino, whereas the suffix name is amine, right? So let us see the last table in this video for the next video, and I hope you like the video. and you have already subscribed, right? Now, OR is nothing but alkoxy. There is no suffix for that, and whenever O is there between two carbon atoms in the triangle form, that is called epoxy. Whenever double bond is there, it is single. There is no prefix for it, only the suffix "-ine". Triple bonds, only the suffix "-ine". If it is azo compound, N double bond N, azo is the prefix, NO2 nitro is the prefix, NO nitroso is the prefix. Whereas if we consider the halogens like chlorine, bromine, iodine, etc., we write halo as the prefix. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for watching the video. Definitely go through the particular playlist in this channel. You can find more details about mains or neat or grand test or whatever it may be. Thank you.